This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, we're back here at Walk-Ons in Kendall, and it is time to talk to Gaby Urrutia, of course, from 24/7 Sports. There he is, as always, manning the post at the stadium as everybody's coming on in. Gaby, how you feeling, my man? How are the recruits? Are they rolling in today? Are they watching the game today?
He says he can't hear us.
Oh, wait a minute. You hear us now, Gaby?
Yeah, now I do. Yeah, now I do. Now I got you guys.
All right, so how do we have a lot of recruits coming in today to check it out? What is the vibe over the last couple of weeks on things that have happened?
Yeah, no, definitely light. As light as I think I've seen it here this year. I think pretty understandable considering the circumstances. Obviously a lot of rivalry games. It's Thanksgiving weekend. Miami and Pitt. I don't know if it really moves the needle a ton, but definitely some intriguing names. Probably my favorite is 2024 receiver Terrence Moore. Just got eyes on him for the first time. He's got a ton of big time offers, and he just pulled up. Was at Florida State last night, so he made the drive down from Tallahassee. I think that's a pretty big deal. Originally a Dade County guy. I think he's going to be a name to know in 2024. So even on a day where it's extremely light in terms of just like actual targets, there's still pretty. I mean, one or two pretty intriguing names.
The only thing I don't like about that is that kid got to see the ambiance of last game between Florida State, which was crazy, and that's not even going to come close to what he's going to see tonight. He's going to see a lot of empty seats and not the same kind of vibe, and I just wonder how much that hurts, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, it's a long process, with these 2024s. This is a kid that's really kind of starting to blow up. Had a huge year for Tampa Catholic. I think he went for over 1,000 yards and, had some pretty insane numbers. So I think we're just really in the early onset stages of this kid's recruitment. Yeah, obviously the environments aren't going to match up. But, I think it's a lot about relationship building right now. I know Miami's done a good job with him to this point and getting him down again. And, again, he is from down here originally. So we'll see. Hopefully we get him down to a game next year where there's that rowdy environment. I mean, hopefully things are a lot different at that point.
Let's hope so.
Gaby, happy belated Thanksgiving, if that's the thing.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
I'm glad you got to spend it with your family and everything like that. So let me ask you a question, because Mario's good for this. Everybody heard about Javonte Citizen. When they heard about Javonte Citizen, is Terrence Moore one of those guys that out of nowhere, under the radar, just popped up and like, oh, look, Miami's talking to him? Is he one of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, he's a 2024, so he's just a junior now. So, he still has plenty of time before, it really becomes anything like that. So, he's just a kid that everyone's offering around the country right now. I think Alabama, Florida State, all those different types of guys. So, he's definitely just an exciting pass catcher, one of those, intriguing prospects. But, again, still kind of early, still at the point of his process where that type of stuff happens.
In terms of, you said, it's kind of light out there. Did you mean on the recruiting front or overall?
Right. Oh, I mean, I think overall, really, too. I mean, when I guess I pulled up to Hard Rock Stadium pretty early today. But when I did, I was the only car turning into the parking lot. Like, on either side, there was, like, two different entrances. I was the only one coming in. Honestly, I mean, I haven't seen the whole environment of the parking lot. But, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's going to be, 64,000 strong or whatever it is here at the stadium. So we'll see.
Let's talk about, let me ask you about a guy that Miami has had their ears on, especially Miami fans like myself has had his ears on, and he's done a very good job about taking his visits, kind of marketing himself. Pancake Huncho, Samson Okunlola, a top 5 offensive tackle in the country. And every time I ask recruit nicks like yourself about him, they say that, look, really nothing is changing my opinion about feeling good about Miami landing his commitment. Where do things stand with him, and where was his last visit? Was he at Florida FSU last night? And we're just going to wait for Gaby to...
there he dropped. Okay.
He'll come back on the screen, on the stream. But, I mean, I guess it's kind of expected. Thanksgiving Day weekend, right? Obviously, the record what it is. People are traveling. Students, not in class right now. So it's not expected to be a big recruiting weekend, especially with your opponent, Pitt, even though Miami is playing for a bowl game. It's probably, there you go, Gaby. Here's Gaby.
Hey, you guys got me?
Yeah, can you hear us?
We
Yeah,
got
I
you.
hear you guys. I don't know what happened there. I could hear you guys, but my camera went away. Like I lost the camera. So, but yeah, I heard your question. I mean, Samson Akinlola, no, he wasn't at Florida State, or anything like that. I do think Miami's still, in a pretty good spot there, and all those different types of things. Florida State not really involved, so I don't think that he would have pulled up to Tallahassee for that one.
Okay.
Gaby, when we talk about recruiting so far, what has changed? Has any defections outside of the one kid that went to Florida, and he was kind of a Gator anyways at heart, so it was kind of one of those things that it was kind of iffy if you were even going to keep him. But how has the class stuck together so far?
Yeah, no, everything else is stuck together pretty well, man. These guys have kind of reaffirmed their commitments time and time again. Some of those guys, I do think it's still going to be a battle to keep these guys. And from what I understand, that's going to be priority number one, is really keeping this thing together. Making sure these guys are all glued up. They've had to fight off some things in terms of guys. Florida potentially trying to recruit some of the guys and things like that. But I think that ultimately they've done a good job of keeping the core of this group kind of gelled and all kind of in unison in terms of Miami being the spot where they're going to play at. So yeah, it's going to be a process. It's never easy. Nothing's ever guaranteed until pen meets paper. But I think for now they've done a good job with that stuff.
Gaby, what are you hearing about defections now? Because I would imagine that the coaches are putting their arms around certain players and saying, hey, listen, I want to be honest with you. I don't think there's going to be a lot of playing time for you next year, this, that. So what's the number, if you had to put, on people going to hit the transfer portal at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think 5 or 6 have already announced their intentions. I definitely expect there to be more. We've heard anywhere, and by we, just us at inside the U, anywhere between 20, 25, anywhere around that mark. And again, what I've been kind of telling people is, whatever happens, kind of happens. At the end of bottom line is, this is a potential 5 and 7 football team, a team that could potentially miss a bowl game if they're guys that aren't going to kind of cut it. I mean, again, it doesn't seem like the players that are on this roster really seem to contribute to much success anyways. If they're not a part of the future of the program, I think it's just time. I think it's best for everyone to just kind of go their separate ways, and that could look like a kind of a wave of guys leaving the program, and typically that could seem like a bad thing. I think that in this situation, I think they're very generous with a lot of the players currently on the roster in terms of allowing them back, having them come back, and really giving them an opportunity to prove themselves. And I think now they kind of know what they have. They've evaluated this roster. They know exactly who these guys are, and I think now they just need to make business decisions in terms of, again, just being honest with guys. Being like, hey, look, we don't see you as a part of the future of this program. We think, we're going to help you find, land on your feet and land in a good spot. And, I think that that's totally okay.
And I think, Gaby, that's part of the reason why these recruits are attracted to, Miami, because let's be honest, around the country, you're looking at Miami 5 and 7, or that's the record right now, or probably going to be 5 and 7. And they're able to hold this top 10 class with 2 5-star dudes that are, the number one position, ranked number one at their position. But what I wanted to ask you about was, there was a corner whose name I saw on the Twitter timeline a couple of days ago. I don't think he went to Lakeland. I don't think he's Cormani McClain's starter on the other side of the field. But there was a 6'1", 180-pound corner that Miami fans were kind of liking his tweets about or whatever, and I cannot recall his name. Would that be? Is there another corner for Lakeland that's kind of drawn eyes from Miami? Because I can't remember who the name of this cornerback was.
Not that I know of, man. Not that I don't know another corner from Lakeland or anything like that. Not sure exactly who it is that you'd be talking about, but they're always looking. Yeah, if you find the name, I could definitely help you out there.
Gaby, give me the prediction. What happens tonight, my brother?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Miami's pretty terrible against the spread. I don't know. What is it, 6.5?
Yeah.
I think they're one of the worst teams in the country against the spread. I don't know. I don't know if I see it going any better today, man. I think Pitt's a team that's won 3 straight games. Can play themselves into a pretty respectable bowl game by finishing. I think they would be 8-4 on the year. I'm just kind of leaning that way. And, again, I think it kind of just, it is what it is. They have a really good running game. Abanda Canada, I think, is one of the conference's top backs. He's kind of their workhorse, the way that they feed him. Keaton's, I just think that it might just be a little bit too much for Miami right now. It seems like there's a lot of guys that are maybe 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Some guys, again, already announced they're transferring. I think there's a few more that are waiting for the season to end to announce their intentions. So I'm just curious how many players on the field are going to be completely focused on, here for the, the right now and really grind out a win again. Not calling anyone out or insinuating anything, but, I just don't think that this is a game that's going to go particularly well for Miami. And again, I think everyone's just kind of ready to move on from the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't the best, outcome.
We all want to move on from the season.
I know you're on
Let's
your way
wrap it
out, Gaby. AJ Harris. He just so happens to be the number 2 cornerback in the country.
I mean, he's committed to Georgia. So, he's from Phoenix City Central in Alabama. I haven't really heard anything there. Georgia, I think you got to be pretty crazy to move off of Georgia right now, especially as a cornerback. I think that they've done a good job bringing those guys in and developing them. I can do more digging there, see what I can help you out there with there. But, at this point, I haven't really heard of any legitimate smoke there to give you anything like that.
Fair enough.
The man is a walking computer with names. You are amazing, Gaby. Gaby, appreciate you, my brother. Enjoy the evening.
Yeah,
we will catch up on Tuesday night on the Miami Hurricanes Watch, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, guys.
You got it. There you go. Gaby Urrutia, man, getting it done for us, as always. And don't forget...